Lindsay?
Aye.
All right, Fred, we're good to go.
All right. We'll begin the Finance Committee agenda. The first item that we have for discussion tonight is a proposal from Alpha Space Control. This company is based in Chambersburg, and they specialize in line painting and sign work, and have done this type of work for the borough for about 10 years. We have asked them to come in and paint double yellow and white lines on Big Spring Avenue, starting at High Street and continuing out to the bridge at Green Ridge Village. And we would also paint lines on Little League Avenue from Shepherd Road to North Corporation Street. There are four intersections where we would install new crosswalks. The first one would be at West Street and West Main. The second location would be the traffic light. The third location would be Corporation Street and East Main. And the fourth location would be South High Street and West Big Spring Avenue. And all of these locations are important because children going back to school use these locations across the street to get to the Newville Elementary School. In addition, we would use the company to core drill several locations on West Street where they would post the school zone no parking signs. So their cost for everything, all materials and labor, including traffic control, $5,441.20. This is an expense which we can pay for using our highway aid funds. And so that is a proposal that we're asking council to approve tonight. And we would be asking Joey Deal to bring this up under her committee report. Does anyone have any questions on the work?
No.
The next item that we have is an F&M Trust Bank resolution. We have added Mr. Darius to the council, so he will come on as an authorized check signer. There was some confusion in the last bank resolution. I was taken off the bank resolution to make transfers, and that posed a problem one day with payroll. So I'm going to be added back onto the resolution, not to sign checks, just to make transfers. Just so everyone on council is clear, only council members can sign checks, and 2 council members are required to sign checks. The other employees, Debbie, Lindsay, myself, can view the accounts. Also, Cheryl can view the accounts. We can make transfers as needed from one account to another, but that limits their involvement. None of the employees can sign checks. Does anyone have any questions on the F&M Bank Trust resolution? Lindsay, how many council members need to come in to sign that?
Most. I think we only have 3 signatures. I think Scott, Mike, and Ed are the only ones who have signed, so everyone else still needs to sign at this point. I don't think you and I have signed either.
Okay, so we would need Jack to come in, Joey.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we have to have all the staff re-sign it too.
Okay,
Okay. I'll drop.
all right.
I mean, and you don't even have to come into the office, Jack, if you don't want to. If you just want to come to the doorway, I can just give it to you. You can sign, and then that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll wear a mask and I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll drop in.
Okay, the next item we have is the bid tabulation for the ADA walkways at the trailhead. And the work that is involved here includes adding 1 additional handicapped parking space with a unload pad so that you can unload a person to a wheelchair. There would be a 42-inch walkway from that new parking space up to the trail. In addition, there would be a 8-foot by 10-foot pad, which would accommodate a bicycle repair station. There would also be a new walkway to the patio area. So basically, anyone in a wheelchair could access the patio area. They could access the trail. They could also access the bicycle station. The total bid, and we have only one bid from Lobar Associates of Dillsburg. Their total amount bid was $22,110, which is about $7,000 less than what we have received in grants from the county. So we actually have a project here that came in below bid. And the bid breaks down as follows: the handicapped accessible parking space, $7,325. The ADA walkway, $8,889. The walkway to the patio, $2,506. The bicycle repair station, $3,390, for a total of $22,110. The bid is complete. The bid bonds have been submitted. Contractors' qualifications have been submitted. I ran everything past Valerie Copenhaver from CADIC. She was pleased, very happy with the bid. They have also indicated Lobar Associates is prepared to complete the project over a 2-week period. So that's good news. Anyone not familiar with Lobar, they were the company that constructed the trailhead back in 2002 or 2003. So they are a very good company, very reliable company. Their bid is complete in all respects. There is no reason why council could not issue a notice tonight to notice of intent to award. And what that does is it then requires Lobar to submit to us a payment bond and a performance bond. And the performance bond would be equal to 100% of the bid price. And at the same time, we will have a contract prepared. Mr. McKnight will prepare a contract and we will have a contract executed. So based upon all those things coming back to us, which might be another week or two, Lobar could then begin the work. Does anyone have any questions on the bid?
Just on the bike repair station, what's going to be involved in that? I mean, what
Well, the bike repair station consists of a stand that you can put your bike on. You would elevate your bike. It makes it easier for you to work. There are certain tools, wrenches that are attached to that station with a cable. You can use those tools to work on your bike. I believe there's an air pump, a hand air pump. So it's basically, to make adjustments to your pipe, pump up your tires, things like that.
Mhm.
It's not very elaborate, but I've seen these at Dickinson College and they're very nice. The students use them, they're handy. And this one will be very accessible. It'll be on a concrete pad. You won't be standing in mud or a puddle or anything like that. So we think it's a nice addition.
Yeah, sounds good.
Any other questions on the bid? The next item I'm not going to get into too heavily tonight. I included some items in your packet, some points to consider, and we will discuss this a little bit more at the work session on Tuesday night. But just generally speaking, the month of August, we start to work on our budget. We start to gather our revenues, our expenditures. We begin to request input from our department heads, and we start to look at where we are financially as we move into the final quarter of the year. There are some suggestions here that we are going to absolutely need to look at next year in order to get our budget in balance. Unfortunately, the effects of the COVID-19 virus won't end at the end of this year. Financially, I think we will still be suffering the effects of the virus next year. So that's going to require us to all look at doing some belt tightening in 2021. The one bit of positive information that I can share with you, Washington Post last night had an article that indicates that there will be some financial assistance coming to us. It will not be at the level that was proposed in the HEROES Act, which passed the House of Representatives, but it is still meaningful. What is being proposed is the release of $156 billion from the previous CARES Act. This is money that has not been allocated. It will not be new money as part of the new stimulus package, but it is money that has already been allocated as part of the previous stimulus package. And both the House and Senate seem to agree that the money would fill the gap to at least give some funding to counties, states, and local municipalities. How far that will go, I don't know. What the formula will be, I think in the HEROES Act, it was going to be distributed on a per capita basis. And I would look for some sort of distribution of the same as part of the new stimulus package. So if you're watching this stimulus package unfold, it was opened up yesterday by the Republicans. It's now going to go through negotiations. And I believe they're hoping that it moves on a fast track. If that's the case, we could be in line to receive some money before the end of this year, which is when we will need it the most, in the last quarter. So we have to keep our eyes on that, hope that that funding does materialize. I don't know, Scott, if you watch this, and Jack, if you have anything to add or not.
The only thing I saw was that the Senate package was 0. And the House package was pretty significant for state and local aid. My guess is it'll be somewhere in between. Hopefully more than 0.
Yeah, that's usually where they wind up. But
Well, it looks like it will be at least $156 billion, which is money that's currently in the previous CARES Act.
Yeah.
So that's, at least it's something.
Hey, Fred, under this list, you talk about pay off copiers and eliminate lease payments. Do we know what the monthly maintenance fee is then on
We would
those?
negotiate that, but it's probably going to be somewhere around in the range of $50 to $60 a month.
Per copier or for
For
both?
the two.
Okay, and then ink is not included in that, I'm assuming.
If we do a maintenance package, it would be.
Oh, it would be, okay.
Toner, staples, the
Okay.
developer cartridge would all be included. Everything except paper.
Okay.
so we have the authority to abolish the position of tax collector?
You cannot do it next year. But if you wish to do it as a cost saving measure, you can put the tax collector on notice. And then that way the position would not appear on the ballot. And the current tax collector would serve out her term. And beginning in 2022, the tax collection would be collected. That work would be done by the borough.
So that's an option that a municipality has.
Yes, and we, as a borough, did this back in 2008. We did it for 2 years. Our borough secretary collected taxes, she collected water sewer bills, and she also took care of the rental license program. So we actually did do tax collection here, and the savings came in that right now you pay a tax collector a 5% commission. So it's about $11,000 a year that we pay the tax collector. Well, if we pay that commission to the borough secretary, it lessens the municipality's financial burden for the borough secretary. So that's the goal in terms of bringing tax collection in-house.
What's the
Yeah,
benefit? I'm sorry, go ahead, Fred.
I was just gonna say the other side of that too is that the school tax is also collected, and that position could collect the commission for that as well, correct?
Right. You would get the commission for the school taxes, and you would also get the commission for the county taxes.
And that 11,000 is more than,
Oh, yeah,
it
you
would be,
yeah, exactly how much I don't know, but I would put it more in the range of maybe 25 to 30,000.
yeah.
Total would be all the commissions.
So if we did it, pardon me, if we did it ourselves, we would get the commission from the school tax. So why have we, what's the argument for keeping a elected tax collector?
The argument would be, many people will tell you that's just the way it always has been. A couple years ago, we had a countywide meeting. And at that time, I had suggested, and the Pennsylvania Economy League was also advocating, that the county should collect the taxes, because the assessments are generated by the county, the bills are generated by the county. So we recommended that there be a countywide tax collection system. That didn't go over well with all the other tax collectors in the larger municipalities. They opposed it. And the county commissioners agreed. They said, we should leave it up to each individual municipality. At that time, Newville decided to take it over, and we collected taxes in-house.
It's a political,
Carlisle Borough, and their finance department in Carlisle Borough actually does the collection. And I believe under their home rule charter, they've now abolished the position of tax collector.
so our employees could do what the tax collector, elected tax collector does now.
We have done it in the past, yes.
I see. Is there any downside to eliminating that position? I mean, if you were the tax collector, what would you argue?
The tax collector would argue that by collecting taxes, people come in, they talk about their tax bill, they complain about their street, they tell you a street light is out. You're more or less, a point of contact. Sometimes people don't want to come to a council meeting, but they're paying their tax bill and they feel, hey, I'm giving you $500. I want to get this off my chest, and they register a complaint or something of that nature. The tax collector also helps elderly residents who are on fixed income with their tax certifications for the property tax rebate program. But frankly, anyone who has access to the software, the tax collection software, could do that as well.
We could presumably.
So it's a position that, has been around in boroughs and townships for a long period of time. And it's a position that, some people look to as a position of trust, and they want to confide in the tax collector. They may not want to go to the supervisors, or in the case of a borough manager, they want to go talk to the tax collector about the problem. The tax collector really can't solve it. The tax collector makes a note and she refers it to the local government. She doesn't have the authority to resolve the problem other than to take the message and pass it on.
I see. Okay, great. Thank you.
We have a few other items, just deviating from the agenda for a moment or two. We have a proposal from Martin and Martin Incorporated And we did discuss this at the last Economic Development Authority meeting. And basically, we are in a position with Martin and Martin to begin the design plan for North Corporation Street resurfacing, storm drainage, and ADA improvements. And their bid to do all this work, which would be prepare all specifications, prepare a design plan, prepare the bid documents, $4,950, which would include meetings with the County Redevelopment Authority so that we can include all the proper HUD documents. The engineer would attend the bid opening, would work with the manager to tabulate and check the bids, and then the engineer and manager would make a recommendation to the Borough Council. The engineer's estimate for the job has been prepared, and we have $93,000 available, and we were planning to put in $20,000 from our highway aid funds for this project. We have been out, the engineer has been out, walked the project area. He's familiar with the scope of the project. So we can use highway aid funding to pay for engineering work. And it would be appropriate tonight to authorize Martin and Martin to prepare the specifications and the design work for North Corporation Street, but not move ahead until we have environmental clearance from the Cumberland County Redevelopment Authority. We should not do anything until we have that. That environmental clearance has been requested from the Pennsylvania Historic Museum Commission. And as soon as that is received by the Redevelopment Authority, they will send a letter. And then we can begin to do everything we need to do to get this project moving along. But tonight, if we could at least have an authorization for the engineer to begin, that way, if we should get the notice to proceed from the county, we won't have any further delay. I would still like to try to get this work done before winter, and I think it is doable. Does anyone have any questions on this?
I'll read what I got here. So approve Martin and Martin Incorporated to prepare engineering specifications and design in the amount of $49.50, not to begin before the environmental study, the return of the environmental study.
Right, that's all correct.
Okay.
The next few items are just informational items. They require no action. I wanted to make council aware that we have seen an increase now. This is a good sign. Home sales in the borough are picking up. Our June check from the Cumberland County Recorder of Deeds Office, realty transfer taxes from the sale of 2 properties totaled $1,670.41. May not sound like a lot, but it was our largest check this year. So it's encouraging. The May check was only $349. One thing I'd like to point out from this report, a property on Big Spring Ave was sold at a price of $193,000. And also a property on Broad Street at 83 Broad Street was sold for $147,900. The property at 69 West Big Spring Ave, again, that sold for $193,000, which is an exceptional price. So I think, those are 2 strong indicators that property values are holding, and hopefully home sales will pick up through the end of the year and return to normal. I'm sure if Ed joins us, he can provide more information on that. We have received 1 installment of our highway aid money from PennDOT. This was received on June 23rd in the amount of $37,056.36 and was deposited into our Highway 8 account. And we are expecting this week or next week a second check for at least the same amount, perhaps $38,000, which will also be deposited into our Highway 8 account. That will give us somewhere around $75,000 in our Highway 8 account moving into winter. So that puts the borough in a pretty good position. I would also like to tell you that we received our 6-month report from PSAB MRT, our retirement trust. And the non-uniform pension plan started out the year with assets of $469,279. And at the end of June, our balance was $442,483.
What was the first
So
figure? I didn't get it.
469, 279, January 1st. And on
Okay.
June 30th, 442, 483. So in the month of May and June, we started to see a positive upturn in our accounts. The police pension plan account on January 1st was $383,969, $383,969. And on June 30th, our balance was $345,447, $345,447. Now, the one thing I should point out, that balance should be a lot less than the non-uniform because we have 2 retirees, we have 2 police chiefs drawing pensions. So it's only natural that the police account would be lower. But again, we're starting to see some movement in a positive direction. We did receive a proposal from Mid-Penn Bank regarding our pension plans. There were some very good attributes of the pension proposal from Mid-Penn that included an investment strategy, which, being in the retirement trust, we are not privy to. We don't have a say in it. Mid-Penn would offer us detailed reports. They would provide meetings with the Borough Council and the Finance Committee regarding our pension plans. Their cost to manage our pension plans, total cost for the year would be $4,050, which would be significantly less than what we have paid to PSAB MRT. So we agreed to listen to them. We told them that we would make no decision. We cannot make any decision, but we would like to arrange a meeting for the full council to meet with Mid-Penn Bank. And if it's the decision of council to look at another investment option for our pension plans, we would have to initiate an Act 44 program. Act 44 is a program for selecting pension consultants. It's a process that is prepared by the Pennsylvania Auditor General, and we must follow that process. We cannot deviate from it. There are strict guidelines. North Newton Township, our neighbor, went through this last year, and they selected a new pension management firm, and it worked out very well. So as part of our budget process coming up, this is something we will be talking to the Borough Council more about, and hopefully working to set up a meeting for all of you to meet with Mid-Penn Bank and possibly other firms if you're interested. But at this point, we have nothing to do in terms of taking action on that tonight. I'd also like to announce that we have the tax collector's monthly report for July. And it shows that a total of $24,116.31, 24,116.31 in property taxes remains outstanding. Occupational taxes, very, very little has been collected. Only $250 has been collected so far this year. So on the occupational tax, $6,580 remains outstanding. So from our borough tax collector, there is a total of $30,696 outstanding at this time. Now, had it not been for the extension of the face period, you would have collected probably a majority of the real estate taxes. The occupation taxes always do come in late. November and December are the months that those taxes come in. But basically, we are in a waiting game here on these taxes. You will receive them, but it won't be until the very last quarter of the year. Because right now, there's no incentive for anyone to go out and pay their property taxes. They're not getting a rebate, they're not getting a penalty. So residents are sitting on the money, being cautious, and you will receive it before the end of the year, the majority of it. Any questions on the tax collector's report? The next big issue this week was working on the Cumberland County COVID-19 block grant. And that application has been submitted and received by the county. The borough has requested $71,626.81. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to break it down to you in detail. Before I do, we have contacted the businesses locally in town. They can make their own separate applications. They cannot make their applications through the borough. Some are applying. Some are also applying for state funds. Nonprofits, we did contact nonprofits. The nonprofits must make applications on their own. And the reason for this is each application must be certified to. There are conditions that you must sign and accept, and only the nonprofit agency can do that. The borough cannot make that affidavit and submit that for the nonprofits. So we have a number of nonprofits who will be submitting. We've been in touch with a few of those folks. The borough's application consists of the following, and the numbers I'm going to give you now are the reimbursements. This is money that we have put out and expended, and we are looking for reimbursement for. And it's primarily in the form of salaries, benefits, and what is known as personal protective equipment, or PPE. Police services, $7,532.60, which included additional patrols, welfare checks, officers enforcing the stay-at-home order, and also the non-essential business order. Administrative services, $471.41, which included our staff time and putting announcements up on the borough website, Facebook, preparing flyers, announcements, things like that, and also doing welfare checks of our residents. DPW services, $2,045.72, which included disinfecting the parks and playgrounds, the trailhead restrooms, handling traffic control at the food banks, delivering food to the food bank, NWSA operator services, $8,313.99. We basically had to isolate our operators since March. As of March 9th, our operators have worked a split schedule. The two operators are not at the plants at the same time to prevent both from becoming infected. So this has resulted in cost to us of $8,313.99. As you know, we prepared a COVID-19 borough response plan. Probably one of the few municipalities in the county who have a plan like this. The consultant's time, solicitor's time, and engineer's time for the plan, $1,945. Personal protective equipment, $4,318.09. So our total expenditures that we've incurred, costs that we've incurred, are just slightly over $24,000. We are also asking for future funds to make other improvements to the borough directly in response to the pandemic. This includes enhancements at the borough meeting room, including additional tables, chairs that can be cleaned and disinfected, plexiglass partitions, a smart TV to allow participants to join our meetings by Zoom. In addition, a smart TV and chairs would be purchased for the Borough Authority meeting room so that they too could continue their in-person meetings. The borough office, as you know, we have discussed a partition and a new service counter. And I contacted Kentucky. Ken was very helpful to us in working up an estimate and giving us a good number for that project. And his estimate is $10,500. We have also included, Chris Galata and I worked on this Sunday night, assistance for our Economic Development Authority. And we have requested $10,000 to help the EDA continue its work, basically aiding local businesses, helping with applications, notifying local business owners of funding opportunities. And this money would be in the amount of $10,000. We have also included a request for a device known as an aeroclave disinfection system. It is a portable device. It's rechargeable. Basically, it is simply described as a machine that can spray disinfectant into a meeting room. It can disinfect a room in 4 minutes. You can disinfect an ambulance in 4 minutes, a patrol car in 3 minutes. It's totally portable. There was a demonstration online. The City of Wilkes-Barre Fire Department purchased a device like this. It worked out extremely well for them. It struck my attention because I know the fire chief, Jay Delaney, and he's a very competent fire chief. And I had been looking at these devices. When I saw the Wilkes-Barre device demonstrated, I talked to our chief of police. He was very much in favor of it for the police department. And so I did request $16,500 for the aeroclave disinfection system. We could use this after meetings to disinfect rooms. In advance of meetings, we could use it to disinfect. It not only treats the COVID virus, but other pathogens as well. So it could be used in flu season and so forth. It could be used beyond the COVID-19 crisis. So our total request for future expenditures are $46,000, making a grand total of $71,000. Now, the $46,000 that we've requested, there is a requirement that if we are awarded these funds in August, we must expend them by December 31st. They cannot carry over into next year. Anything that we do not get funded for under the county grant, we will next month apply to FEMA and ask FEMA to fund. So we have a fallback position. After looking at this, I talked to Scott and I said, what I would like to do is put all of our eggs in one basket, so to speak, with the county. The county has 23 $3 million. Let's see what we can do with the county. Whatever we don't get from the county, we are registered, we're set to go. All of our documentation has been submitted to FEMA and approved. All FEMA needs right now is our numbers. So if we don't get funded, we have another opportunity coming up next month. Does anyone have any questions on the application? It was received, and we did receive a written acknowledgement of the application. And Jack, I know Chris is going to talk more about it at the upcoming EDA meeting.
Mhm.
But basically, if we are funded, it would give the Economic Development Authority $11,945 for the remainder of this year, which should be more than sufficient. Okay, moving on to the balance sheet. And these balances are from our accounts through June 30th. General fund checking, $43,438.35. The rental fund, $3,122.29. Our street lighting fund, $8,842.72. Fire tax at Mid-Penn, $54,761.40. In our general expense account, our debit card, $117.84. The Newville area events, $3,431.40. Highway aid checking has $5,154.21. But as I said before, we did make a deposit of $37,000. So we have around $42,000 in highway aid right now. Payroll checking, $9,318.03. In the police department accounts, the checking account at Belco, $6,329.48. K-9 fund at Belco, $1,850.44. The auxiliary police account, $251. The debit card for the police department is $972.54. I'd like to inform council that we did make the purchase of the vest for Officer Brady. We did make the purchase of $800 worth of clothing for Officer Brady so that he has uniforms when he begins his duties next month. And we will make a like purchase of $800 once again in the month of August. We also did pay for the bill to repair the patrol car. And we made a payment for some camera work to the CIA alarm company, and that was in the amount of $2,000. So those were items paid for the police department. Again, the pension fund statements I just read, so won't repeat those. The joint veterans account has a balance of $1,775.81. Capital improvement at ACMB, $1,467.07. And in our tax anticipation loan, $3,494.26. Are there any questions on the balances? On the list of bills, the News Chronicle billed us for advertisements and an employment ad for the police clerk, $437.50. Salzman Hughes PC charges $45 for COVID-19 legal work, basically giving us updates. Ed Mill Fuels, Public Works Department fuel, $99.06. The Sentinel, we also ran an ad there for a police clerk, $302.46. And DACO, uniform rentals for June for Public Works, $294.96. The Sentinel, a bid notice for the Trailhead project, $140.98. Irwin and McKnight legal fees for the EDA, $465. Mr. McKnight's legal services to Borough Council, $39. Sailor's Market, Trailhead maintenance supplies, $50.19. The Galata Group, this is Chris's bill for the month of June for EDA, $1,100. PepsiCo beverages, sports and soft drinks for the trailhead and park machines, $372.62. Chamberlain Wingert, the restroom and wash sink at the park, $372.62. Higher Information Group, copy surcharges for the borough police and the borough office, $166.80. Crime Intervention Alarm Company, quarterly monitoring and maintenance fees for the telephones and cameras at the police station, $303. Cedar Grove Farm Store, a roll of trimmer line for the public works, $11.99. JGF funding, the copier lease for the borough and police, $269. Making the total bills for the general fund, $4,392.56. In highway aid, we had one bill, which is the lease payment for the Case skid steer, $922.83, and I should say we should add to that a bill from now I can't think of the name of the company now. Lindsay, help me out. They worked on our Oak Ridge equipment. Oak Ridge has a bill of $1,842 to put a new clutch into our leaf collection machine. And that was actually taken up back in December when the machine broke down. Council authorized it to be repaired and ready for the next season. So we have those two highway aid bills. Any questions on the list of bill? Any questions on any of the financial matters?
Real quick, the money that comes from the vending machines at the trailhead, where's that go?
Goes into the general fund.
Okay.
We use it to buy beverages, and anything that we make in the way of profit goes to trailhead maintenance and park maintenance.
Okay.
Typically, at the end of the year, Scott, we get a
Right.
report that shows how much we purchased in soda and how much we took in.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's a whole lot. So
Dave told me last week that soda sales are up. So Lindsay handles that. Maybe she has more to offer on that.
Yeah, I don't have the exact figure, but if you want it, I can get it together for you
I
tomorrow.
just was curious.
Yeah.
All right, we have about 5 minutes till we have to switch over. So
Any questions on any of the recommendations for tonight?
On this 2021 general fund budget, you talked about some of the points on here, but you didn't talk about all the others. Are we going to go through this at the full meeting?
I'd like to do it at the work session. I think
Okay.
would be a good time. So obviously, we don't have all the council members here right now, but some of these items are very important, and the budget preparation, Jack, is going to
Yeah.
be very important. So I have
Okay.
put it on the work session agenda
Okay, and that's next, that's the first?
next Tuesday night.
Yeah. Is that going to be, that'll be a virtual meeting? Still?
I would assume, Scott.
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, because I'll be on the road or I'll be in New Mexico. so
And
I'll
Jack,
try to-
this won't be the end of the discussion. It's just, we're just starting. So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do here, and what I'd like council members to do, is start thinking about not just what's on this list. Maybe you have some other ideas.
Mhm.
But it's going to be a challenge to do our budget. This was going to be a year where we normally would do a $500,000 tax increase. And I know there will probably be some council members who in the present economy would say it's not the time to do that. But we have to look and see what we're going to get in the way of assistance from the federal government for the next stimulus package.
Hmm.
And then we are going to have to take a good look at our earned income tax and what we get from our tax collector through the end of the year. So we're now moving into the time of the year when normally we would announce no spending, cut your spending. Well, we announced that in April. So it's been a difficult year. It's been a tough year. Revenues are down. Revenues aren't coming in. But it is what it is. And we have to look for ways to mitigate the hardship that we've suffered this year. Some of the mitigation will be unpleasant, but there are things that we will have to do to ensure the integrity of the borough. Anything else? I guess, Scott, you want us to sign off and join in the new meeting?
That's a yes.
Sorry, muted myself because the dog was barking. I was talking and nobody was hearing me. Yeah, so that's good. Let's make the switch over. So I'll see you all in a few minutes.
Go side.